adrenaline junkies. Get ready for high-speed police motorcycle chases, insane pursuits, and split-second decisions that turn the streets into total chaos. Brace yourself, the chase starts now. You should never run from the police, especially not from the Arkansas State Police. On November 8, 2023, troopers clocked a motorcycle speeding at 142 miles per hour in a 70 zone. The reckless rider weaved dangerously through lanes, putting countless civilian drivers at serious risk. Amid heavy rush hour traffic, the motorcyclist showed no sign of slowing down, weaving through narrow gaps between vehicles at dangerously high speeds. Officers worked in perfect coordination to block the reckless driver who had no idea he was heading straight into a police trap. The motorcycle veered off into the grass at around 45 miles per hour, but luckily the rider escaped without any serious injuries. He was taken into custody, and after a background check, officers found he had no criminal record and nothing to hide. Yet he still chose to run. A bad decision, especially when facing Arkansas State Police.
He wrecked out.
Hey, get on the ground! On the ground, now! On the ground! Get your own back there.
They go back to Fox County.
Get in.
Quick.
I don't have much to say to y'all, but I apologize. That was stupid. I shouldn't have.
You're right.
I shouldn't have.
Let's head to São Paulo, Brazil, where a police chase unfolded after officers spotted a couple riding without helmets and with their license plate removed. What began as a simple traffic violation quickly escalated into a thrilling pursuit through the narrow back streets of the city. Taking advantage of his familiarity with the area and the agility of a small motorcycle, the rider weaved through traffic and darted into narrow alleyways in a desperate attempt to escape the police. In the end, after briefly losing control, the rider crashed into a parked car.
Copom, aciona o resgate aí, por gentileza. Marco Aurélio Marliane. É de quem é essa moto? É sua moto? Não acredito. Deixa eu tirar o cabelo aqui. Calma aí. Não dorme não.
The next chase takes us to Prague, Czech Republic, where officers from the emergency motor unit spotted a motorcycle driving dangerously. When they ordered the rider to stop, he ignored the command, hitting the throttle and speeding away, forcing police into pursuit through the city streets.
Mám tady kolegy z Lanka, takže ty za něm jedou na motorce.
The suspect recklessly weaved through traffic, cutting off other vehicles, and ultimately causing a collision with multiple cars during his attempt to flee.
Motorka, jsme Strakonická, směr centra ven, no ale byla 10, minuli jsme teď akorát. No ale byla 10, jsme ulice Výpadová. Prosím tě, nehoda, jo? Nehoda.
After colliding with a police vehicle, the driver was taken into custody. It was later revealed that he had already been banned from driving. In the end, the court sentenced him to 20 months in prison without the possibility of parole.
Prosím tě, další nehoda, 8 zadržený.
Back in Brazil, another chase erupted when patrol officers spotted a motorcycle with no license plate. And neither the rider nor the passenger were wearing any protective gear. The moment they noticed the police, both bikes hit the gas, racing through the city streets at high speed and turning traffic into chaos. Both vehicles then split up in an attempt to distract the officers and make it easier to escape. The motorcyclist kept swerving and changing directions, forcing the pursuing officers to stay on high alert throughout the chase. In the end, the brave and determined officers came out on top. Both the driver and the female passenger were taken into custody after the vehicle came to a stop. Fortunately, no one was injured. However, this incident clearly shows how the driver recklessly disregarded not only his own life, but also the safety of everyone around him. He will now have to face the serious consequences of his actions. The next chase takes us to Norberto, Brazil, where officers on patrol spotted a Yamaha T03 motorcycle with no license plate, and the rider wasn't wearing a helmet. When ordered to stop, he refused, relying on his riding skills to outrun the police. What followed was a daring chase through the streets of Norberto. The riders squeezed through tight gaps between cars, weaved recklessly, and even drove into oncoming traffic, doing everything possible in a desperate attempt to shake off the pursuing officer. Although officers tried to block him using 2 patrol cars, the suspect spotted a narrow gap and managed to slip through at the very last moment. As in many cases, the driver eventually surrendered safely to the pursuing officer, but in the end, his decision to flee put both the police and the public at serious risk. Such behavior is considered dangerous resistance, and he could very well end up behind bars for that reckless choice.
cair na mão com o policial.
Direita. Deita, deita no chão.
Vila Bela.
Vou deitar, perdi.
Apoio chegou. Barra acabou.
On June 15, 2022, in Utrecht, South Netherlands, an officer spotted a motorcycle traveling the wrong way and signaled the rider to stop for inspection. But when the emergency lights came on, the rider refused to pull over, continuing to move ahead at a slow but deliberate pace, turning the situation into an unusual low-speed chase. The driver kept weaving through narrow alleyways, but the officer remained patient and stayed right on his tail. A few minutes into the chase, another patrol car rushed in to block the fleeing vehicle, but the attempt was unsuccessful. Both suspects fled on foot, jumping over a fence and abandoning the motorcycle. A check of the vehicle revealed that it had been reported stolen earlier. The two suspects, who were already wanted, were later captured after officers tracked them to their residence. The rider was also linked to a separate kidnapping case that occurred prior to this chase. What seemed like a calm evening in the city of Embu das Artes, São Paulo quickly turned chaotic when a motorcyclist sped past four patrolling officers. Riding fast with no helmet and no license plate, the reckless rider immediately caught the attention of police, setting the stage for another wild chase through the night. driver made several sharp turns, causing the vehicle to swerve dangerously and nearly hit pedestrians multiple times. Despite having a passenger on the back, the driver kept fleeing even after crashing hard into a car, showing complete disregard for anyone's safety. The driver had no choice but to surrender to the officers and was taken into custody without resistance. His passenger, who was involved in the crash, fortunately escaped without any serious injuries and was later released. This chase once again proves that no one can outrun the law, not before and certainly not after.
Levanta aí. Coloca a mão no meu ombro aqui.
Você pode mais devagar, por favor?
Vai. Ele é o que seu?
Namorado.
Namorado? Ele é procurado? Ele é procurado? Aqui em cima, né? A moto eu vou deixar lá embaixo. A moto. Deixar lá embaixo.
On April 14, 2021, officers from Utrecht North in the Netherlands spotted a vehicle speeding dangerously, putting other drivers at risk. Without hesitation, police initiated a pursuit, racing to stop the reckless driver before anyone got hurt. With the enthusiastic help of local residents, police quickly subdued the rider. Upon inspection, the motorcycle was found to have no insurance, a fake license plate, and the driver had no valid license. The bike was confiscated, and the rider was cited for administrative violations and dangerous driving.
Stoppen! 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 Wat doen? Wat doen? Kijk, ik kom weg! Ik wil filmen! Wat is er aan de hand? Nee, filmen!
The thrill doesn't stop here. At Police Chase 360, every chase leads to another. Stay tuned, buckle up, and get ready for what's next. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and join the ride before the next pursuit begins.